Sir. Sir, am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Yes. Good afternoon to all. Welcome to the first session of the Virtual Meet of School Educational Leaders. Today we have a session on educational leadership trends and challenges. I should say we have the right person with us, Professor Aloysius Edward, the Dean of Faculty of Commerce and Management and the Director of IQAC of Kristu Jayanti College. I have, from the bottom of my heart, if I'm speaking, I will say that it is fun as well as challenging to work under Edward Sir. Edward Sir is such a leader, I should say. Kristu Jayanti College had gone for its first NAC accreditation. Many of you from the schools may not be aware that colleges has to go for an accreditation process by the government of India, that is a NAC accreditation. Our college, when we went for the first time in 2009, it was under the leadership of Aloysius Edward Sir. Again, we went in the year 2015, the second accreditation, and in both these accreditations, our college was graded with the highest grade at that time, that is the A grade. So Sir is a far-sighted leader, an untiring leader, and a leader who visualizes things and executes things with compassion and courage. Sir holds his PhD in finance. Sir is the Dean of Faculty of Commerce and Management, and Sir, right from the inception of IQAC in Kristu Jayanti College, Sir is leading IQAC. Sir is a recipient of many awards, and the latest is the Teaching Excellence Award by the Accreditation Councils for Business Schools and Programs, which is an international accreditation body based in USA. So received the award at Kansas City, USA in the year 2018. And last week our college got our MBA program got internationally accredited by the ACBSP under the leadership of Edwards. So Sir is, I think Sir is we cannot have a better resource person than Sir for taking this session, Educational Leadership Trends and Challenges. Welcome you, Sir. Over to you, Sir. Thank you.
So thank you very much, Professor Anita, for a nice introduction. Thank you very much in our joining with us in our quality culture, in enhancing quality of Kristu Jayanti College Autonomous Bangalore. Thank you very much, ma'am. Dear participants, once again, we welcome you to session 2. Morning, we had an excellent inaugural address, and then we have our beloved Dr. Jonas Richard, the head of the Department of Social Work, has the convener of this particular virtual school education leaders meet, has introduced the entire concept of the entire 4-day session, and then we have introduced each other. The post-lunch, we are starting with the session 2. As ma'am was mentioning, I must be the best person to speak on education leadership, especially for school teachers and school principals. So I may not be the best person because we always talk about corporate leadership, company leadership, and we are in higher education. So we do not have direct contact, direct relationship with the school and school teachers unless we have a certain school training programs organized by Center for Continuing Professional Development of our college. So otherwise, we don't have any direct relationship with the school administration and school management. So we take up various training sessions for school teachers on psychosocial understanding of learners and building the skills of students or in terms of life skill and various other input sessions we used to take for all the school teachers and school principals. Otherwise, we don't have any kind of direct relationship with the school management administration. You are the best administrators in your own school. You are the best teacher in your own school. So we are proud of each and every one of you for your enormous contribution and valuable contribution to this nation, because the education is the backbone of every country, especially primary education and secondary education. So you are the teachers in school education are doing extremely well for uplifting every school children aspirations and meeting their goals of their own wards. So on this introduction, I just wanted to share my own experiences in leadership, especially in school administration management. If I'm wrong, you can always correct me, and we can stop in between for any kind of discussion and deliberation. And this discussion deliberation would provide us a greater learning for both of us, both the organizers and the participants. So with this introduction, I just wanted to throw, this is the overview of entire session. So we talk about what are the challenges in school leadership. You may have numerous challenges. So I have just enumerated few challenges of what the school administrators face, and what are the parameters of school education, and how we can have effective school education leadership, and various types of school education leadership, and the major trend in leadership, not only in schools, in higher education and any institution, is the transformation leadership. What are various levels of transformation leadership? That's a trend. And what are the various skills associated with this transformation leadership in schools? This is how the presentation overview of this particular session. Let's move forward. So as John Holt said, we don't have to make human beings smart. They are all born smart. So we always find smart students in our own school. All we have to do is to stop doing things that made them stupid. That is what as teachers, as school principals, we need to do. And we need to enhance their experiences. We need to enhance their smartness. As when they are born smart. So only thing, we need to enhance their experiences. So when you look at the changing paradigm in education system, as all of us know, always this particular slide we need to put wherever we go for any kind of presentation. I just wanted to put the same slide here, how we change our educational perspective, how the education perspective changes over the years. So when you look at 10 years before or 20 years before, we talk about only the government-owned schools. Now we could see private companies and corporate-owned schools. So you could see every company has got its own school, including HDFC Bank, Birla, Tata companies, all that, as Wipro, all have got their own corporate schools. So private companies have started their own schools besides the trust and philanthropic associations. Then earlier, education was considered as charitable activity, and today, as all of us know, it's a commercial activity. Though we cannot accept this particular concept of commercial activity, but that is the reality. So it becomes the big business now. And earlier we focused on character. Now we are focusing on career and life. Earlier we talked about life and values. Now we are talking about building competencies of students. Earlier it was teacher-centered education. Now we are talking about student-centered education. So earlier we need to give classroom sessions, and now we are talking about outcome-based learning. So what the student want to achieve, we need to define first, and then we need to design all our activities to achieve that outcome. So it becomes outcome-based learning, or it is innovative pedagogical system. Earlier teacher involvement was more, and today we expect every student to involve in their teaching learning experiences. Earlier the education was requiring less investment, and today it requires a heavy investment in terms of infrastructural facilities. The moment a student comes in the school, he is asking whether the school has got a classroom or not. He is asking whether the school has got swimming pool or not, though it is not that much essential. So we need to provide them we need to enhance their expectations, because their expectations are very, very different. So unless we meet their expectations, and we cannot achieve the requirements of the current stakeholders. So meeting the requirements of current stakeholders require heavy investment in education. So all this, all of you must agree with this particular changing paradigm in our education scenario, not only school education, but also in higher education. So the goal of every education in a knowledge-based society, because we live in a knowledge-based society wherein information is unlimited, data are unlimited. So when we are living in a knowledge-based society, we are involved ourselves to train students to reflect, to make them logical, and help them in learning to communicate, assist them to be creative and innovative while making them feel to free, different from others. So how we are making them to innovative, creative, and building their competencies, and how we are enhancing their global competencies. That's what the goal of every education institution is about. So education is a provision of series of learning experience. So it is a cumulative learning experience to students in order to impart knowledge, values, attitudes, and skills with the ultimate aim of making them productive members of society. That is the every higher education institutions, the ultimate goal is to make them a responsible citizens of our country. So the purpose of classroom is to achieve precisely all these objectives. So every classroom sessions, we need to make them, we need to make the students knowledgeable, and we need to equip them with the proper attitudes and the skills, and thereby making them responsible citizens of our country. So the need of the learners change in the knowledge society, because the requirements of the stakeholders, requirements of the students are changing every day in this knowledge society. So in this knowledge age, technology and education have to be integrated, and one cannot work without each other. That all of us are experiencing now in this pandemic period. So in this pandemic period, we connect students only through technologies. So the main purpose of any higher education institutions, the near future, is to build IT infrastructural facilities. So when the demand of the classroom change, we teachers are also changing. So with this, with this introduction, I just move on to the school administrators, school principals. So every school administrator, every school principal are confronted on a daily basis a variety of issues. So we can talk about n number of issues every day the principal is to manage. So how every principal react to these issues to a greater extent determines their success or failure as school administrator. How we react, how we respond to all these issues determine whether a particular principal is good, or becoming good, or it is, we call it as, we are always learning towards to become a successful. So every stakeholder expects principal as instructional and visionary leader to manage the day-to-day happenings that occur in every school successfully. So it is not new. So it is not a new concept that we are talking about. So every day we are doing all this. So as principals, we do multiple roles in schools. All of you should agree with me. So all of us are doing very different roles. The roles can be being a principal, we are teachers. We are teachers as principals. So we may be taking a few classes for, especially for higher classes. Higher secondary, you may be taking few subjects in higher secondary. If it is high school, you may be taking a few subjects in high school students. So basically we are teachers. And we are considered as assessment expert. That means we evaluate every student in terms of knowledge, in terms of skills. And more than that, more than the teacher or the assessment expert, we are facilities manager. So any kind of issues in relation to any kind of IT or technology or physical infrastructure facilities, and we are answerable to that. So we become a facilities manager. At the same time, we are educational visionary. Whatever we wanted to achieve, we share that particular vision to all our stakeholders and make them to achieve in a collaborative way. So that is called the education leader. That's what we call it. We become a team leader or educational visionary. Then we principals considered as a mentor for teachers and for all the students. And not only that, any psychological issue comes, and we need to address those issues. So we become psychologists, and we respond to all the social needs, local community needs. So we become social worker. And any kind of legal issues comes, any kind of issues related to media, and we become public relations coach, and we are answerable to any kind of social or the legal issues, and we become a cheerleader. We encourage everyone, and we encourage teachers and students to achieve their goals. So we play very multiple roles in schools. So this ever increasing variety of roles make their daily work inherently complex, and the demands on them are increasingly fragmented. So all these issues making us our work more complex, because we play multiple roles in school. Sometimes as school principals, for us, we may report to the school by 8 o'clock, and we may leave the school sometimes night 8 o'clock. So you may be working 12 hours or 13 hours in a school as principal. Sometimes the whole out of 24 hours, you may be working 15 to 16 hours in a school as a principal. So all because we deal with a lot of daily issues. So how we encounter all these issues determine whether we are successful or we are becoming successful school administrators. So the 5 key practices in the school, what we can have as the principal is shaping the vision of academic success of all students. So every student is very much unique to us and very much significant to us. So every student in a school, you may have 1,000 students, you may have 7,000 students, and the teachers may not know all the students, but every principal may know all the students. So the shaping the goal of every student is the primary objective of every school principal, and creating conducive learning ambience for education. That is the another primary responsibility as a school principal. And then we cultivate leadership in others. We develop teacher leaders. So the moment we cannot always be there always all the time, and we need to develop our own school leaders, school teacher leaders, and we need to enhance the learning experiences of students, and we need to manage, of course, people, data, and process to foster continuous improvement of the school. So these are all the key practices as school principal always we do every day. So we need to mold the goal of every student, create a conducive learning ambience, and enhance their learning experiences by providing all the physical and IT infrastructure facilities. And we develop our own teacher leaders, and we need to manage the people. What we meant is the academic and administrative staff, and we need to cater to the need of every school offices. So you need to provide a lot of data, a lot of processes to the local school offices, and to have a continuous improvement. So the demand of increased accountability, the variety of social issues that confront communities today, the lack of funding to meet the increasing number of mandates imposed on schools, and expanding the demand society is asking schools to address, certainly make the job of tomorrow's school principals highly difficult. So every day we encounter a lot of other issues. So let us look at what are the major challenges as we face as a school leader. So education leaders must guide their schools through the challenges posed by increasing complex environment. So a lot of challenges we may have. So I just look at a few challenges I have just enumerated here. You can add a more number of challenges as a school leader, as school principal that we face, and we need to develop the master schedule for the entire school, and we need to handle the student discipline. Any kind of discipline comes to the principal. So if you have a 7,000 students or 5,000 students, so you may spend enormous amount of time on handling the student discipline, and we need to manage the effective communication to students and the teachers, and we deal with a lot of other legal issues, and maintaining safe school facilities, because nowadays safety is a primary concern. So we need to maintain that safe school facilities, and we need to prepare our own budget and implement that budget expenditure, and managing after school programs. Sometimes you may have after school, you may have a music class or yoga class, or you may have other ICT based coaching. So you need to manage all that after the school is over, and working effectively with the parent groups, because they are the major stakeholders in school education. So working effectively with the parent groups, parent teacher association, managing issues of access to students and student records, because we need to provide to your competent authority. So you'll have to be answerable to state government, or if you are CBSE school, ICSE school, you'll have to send all the student records to the respective boards. So you'll have to manage all the records. Though we may have a good administrative staff, but we'll have to sign and send it across, and we'll have to verify. And time management, because we have got only 24 hours in a day, we cannot enhance that number of hours. So we'll have to manage in that particular time effectively. And scheduling and implementing faculty classroom observation, because faculty play pivotal role in enhancing learning experience of students. So we need to observe the faculty and provide them the proper feedback, and enhancing their performance is another major challenge for the school principal. And another major issue here, though you may have a state manager or you may have a school administrator, but indirectly or directly, we need to manage and deal with the transport issues and problems if you have your own school buses. So these are all
Edward, sir.
various school leadership challenges. Yes,
Edward,
now I
sir.
stop. Yeah.
Sir, sorry to interrupt. Sir, many are saying that they are not able to hear. We will request all of them to join with their audio. They need to join with the audio.
Yes, otherwise we cannot.
Dear participants, please join with audio and video. Video you can mute so that the voice will be very clear. Thank you.
Yeah, as it has been communicated earlier, the beginning of session itself, if your internet connectivity is not that much good, please unmute your video. Mute your video so that your internet connectivity will support the audio. Please mute your video. So in this join with the device audio, then only you can hear. Can we proceed? Because your internet connectivity may not support the required bandwidth. So in such case, you'll have to mute your video, then your sound, you will get a very good clarity. Please join with device audio. Can you, all of you can hear me now? All of you can hear me now? So any clarification, anything, any deliberation, any discussion, because you may have a better experience. So we are not the level, we are not in the field. So we are on the other side of the ground. So you are in the ground. So you may have a lot of other challenges. Any more clarification, any discussion? Any discussion? Yes, please proceed.
I throw him out. I'm not able to understand what he's saying.
Max, come here. Come here.
Yeah.
Can we go?
Hey!
Yes. Yeah, please, ma'am. Please proceed. Yes, ma'am.
Hey! Richa!
Yes, ma'am. Please proceed. Yes, ma'am. Yes, somebody said, yeah, I'm not, what I'm saying you could not understand. What is that? I can clarify. Yes. Can you? Yeah, can you repeat?
Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon,
We can
Father.
hear you. Good
Yeah, can you
afternoon.
hear me? Yes, yes.
Yeah, sir, we can hear you.
Yes, yes.
Please proceed.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you
One
so much.
teacher asked, sir, I didn't understand what you're talking. The teacher can clarify the doubt before we proceed. Okay, the teacher can come back. So all these challenges is always there as the school principals and school leaders. Unless we equip our teachers simultaneously, when we develop our own schools, we need to equip our teachers with the required skills and with the required competencies. So we need to talk about the teacher leadership development. There are four broad areas we can talk about the teacher development. One is the personal development, academic development, professional development, and leadership development of teachers. So here I'm talking about the teacher development. The parameters of teacher development: personal development, academic and professional development. Personal development, what we meant here is we teachers are role models for every student. So we become a role model in the classroom, and our action and words are highly transformed. So our words carry a lot of meaning. The moment we label any student in the classroom, that has got a greater meaning. So we are not supposed to label any student. So we as teachers, our actions and our words are highly powerful. So we need to use our words more effectively, more efficiently. So this is called personal development. As teacher himself or herself, how a teacher can enhance her own competencies. The second, we talk about the academic development. So as the technological world changes, we need to enhance our own capabilities. So making efforts and finding time for academic development, upgrading our knowledge. Then professional development, meet the requirements of today's competitive world. So a lot of new courses, online courses that it comes through. So how for a teacher equip himself or herself to meet the current requirements. So now we talk about robotics in schools. So now we talk about data analytics in schools. So how for a teacher equip himself or herself to meet the current requirements in the competitive world. That we call it professional development. So personal, academic, and professional development. The fourth aspect is very important as a leadership development. So every teacher in a school is a leader. Every teacher in a school is a leader, himself or herself. So leadership is not that much, it belongs to only to the principal or the administrators. The leadership, the aspect of leadership belongs to everyone in a school. So leadership is a process of influencing others, process of influencing others' ideas and making them to accomplish their goals. So anytime you seek to influence the thinking or development of people towards accomplishing a goal in their personal or professional lives, then we are taking the role of a leader. The moment we influence others, the moment we help others to accomplish their goal, then we take the role of leader. So as school principals, we need to develop our own teaching community to become a school teacher leaders. So the leadership is an important process in every educational institution and every organization. So whether it is a country or a big dollar, 500 crore dollar company, or higher education institution or school education institution, leadership is imperative. So we talk about two important concepts here. Are we teachers? Are we the school leaders? Are we managers? Or are we leaders? Yes.
Edward sir?
Yeah.
Edward sir?
Yes.
There is a continuous question. How do we handle the ill-mannered and chaotic parents?
Yeah. We'll come back.
Please.
Yes. this kind of situation arises every time. All cannot have the same kind of behavior. First of all, when we encounter that kind of issues of a problematic parent, or sometimes because we school principals are always answerable to them. First of all, we need to speak to them. So whomever comes with the different issues, certainly we need to speak to them. So there is no hard and fast formula to deal with this kind of parents. So we cannot say this particular formula you can apply, and then you cannot immediately you can change them. So as leaders, we need to understand situation, and that's what we talk about, the situation leadership. So we need to understand situation and analyze that situation, and then we need to respond to the situation. So that kind of problematic parents comes, as school leaders, we need to be highly calm, and we need to be highly passionate. We need to highly patient enough to listen to them. See, the moment we encounter these kind of issues with a lot of emotions, then certainly the situation will go beyond our control. So the more we are patient enough to understand their issues and responding to their issues effectively will solve their problems. It depends on the situation. So if you narrate that situation, why that particular parent becomes problematic, why that particular problem, why that particular parent, because you may have 1,000 parents, only out of 1,000 parents, one parent becomes so problematic. If you could explain, then we could give some kind of the workable solution. Yeah. Any more clarification? Yes. Yeah, proceed. Yeah, proceed, sister. Proceed. Proceed. Okay. So we need to ask ourselves, when our school principal is not there in the school for 1 week or for 1 month, school principal is going for some program for 1 week or one program, what is the reaction of teachers? What is the reaction of students that we need to see? The moment we come to know that a principal is not there for next 1 week, next 1 hour, next 1 week, always we say, okay, principal is not there, we can have a relaxed mood. So that means we become managers. So we become managers. We are not leaders. The moment we are not there, things are, every activity, every program, the class are going on smoothly. That means in your absence, how the school is functioning, that is the quality of a leader. The absence of principal, how the particular school is functioning, particular classroom is functioning. Okay, the teacher is, teacher is not going to the particular class. He or she is in the classroom. Principal is not there. That means we are just managers. We are not leaders there. Okay, so manager does things right. A leader does right things. A manager does things right. A leader does the right things. So managers are confined to rules and regulations, confined to norms. Leaders also want norms, but they have their own well-standard norms. And managers are derived from their own authority and from their own position. That means if you're not there, principal is not there, school doesn't function, classes will not happen, activities will get cancelled. It doesn't go according to the schedule. That means they are doing all our work because of our presence. Okay, so position, leadership, not only the position, your own personal influence. The moment you are influencing others to act effectively, then we become principal. So all of us should ask ourselves, are we managers? Are we leaders? If you are leaders, without your presence, school should function effectively. School should have 95% of attendance, whatever attendance we have in the school, and school should function without any hindrances, without any difficulties. That means we are leaders. And in case of managers, managers has got their own subordinates, and we say leader has got followers. Managers motivate his subordinates, leaders inspires the followers. The manager's qualities are more obtained than the intrinsic. Leadership qualities more intrinsic than it is acquired. So some leadership qualities can also be obtained. So as school leaders, we need to ask ourselves, are we managers? Are we leaders? So we wish every school principals to be leaders, not only as managers. And how we can have that effective school education leadership. So we looked at the major differences between the leaders and managers in schools. And we look at how we can have the effective school education leadership. So regardless the levels of education, effective leadership makes a difference in improvement of learning. So there are two objectives here. One is improving the school a set of direction. So what the school wanted to achieve. So what is in terms of academic target, what do you want to achieve? In terms of co-curricular and extracurricular activities, what is want to achieve? So that is your goals to be achieved. And we need to make all our members to achieve that particular objective, influencing all your members to go in that direction. So that is the main two objectives of the education leadership. And how do we do that? First, set direction. So please don't look at the slide. It is only the theory, it is there. So first you set directions. Set your goal. The goal can be a 1 year goal, or it can be 5 year goal, or it can be 3 year goal. So set your direction, long term and short term. And after setting a direction, develop people, develop your own teachers, equip our own teachers with the required skill to achieve that particular goal. That is developing people and influencing them to achieve that. That is second, developing teachers. And third is by making the institution work, creating facilities and redesigning the facilities and supporting them to achieve that particular goal. So that is called effective school leadership. Setting the direction, equipping your own teachers and providing them a proper facilities. If it is not there, redesigning their facilities to achieve that particular goal. So the goal is to be set in a group. It is not you set the goal and disseminate that particular goal. This goal has to be set as a team with the principal and teachers to whatever you want to achieve. So the goal can be in terms of academic target goals. You want to achieve the 100% pass percentage. So you have 100% pass percentage for the past 5 years, then your goal must be different. So you need to have 90% of students should get the 90% of marks. That should be your academic target. So that is, we call it the academic targets. So you have achieved 100% target. So you want to go a little more further. So in terms of the distinction, how many percent of students want to have the distinction? So you need to revise your academic targets jointly. Jointly, what we meant here is with your own teaching community. Then making them to develop that. So you are telling them to achieve that, and we need to give them the adequate facilities to achieve that particular target. So this is what we talk about the school education leadership. It's only theory it is given. Now we talk about various types of education leadership that we have. So it can be transactional, servant, emotional, and transformational. Transactional, servant, emotional, and transformational. Transactional, as all of us know, it is only employer-employee relationship. You give them the work and they do the work and give them the money what is being discussed. So they just do the work and get their salary and they move around. They move out. So that is called the transactional leadership. That is employer-employee relationship. So you give them some work to be done, complete the work and get the salary and move out. So that kind of leadership will not work in educational services, because education is not simply of exchange of service for money. It is more than that. So transaction leadership will not work in the school education or in the higher education. Then we talk about servant leadership. That is no sense of interest on the part of a leader, and we guide them, we guide our teachers, we empower the teachers and culture and create a culture of trust and giving them the complete responsibility to carry out the complete task. The complete trust in the process and in his or her own followers, assuming that they do in align with the goal of the organization. So completely trusting on the particular subordinates as a particular teacher and giving them the proper empowerment and ask them to do the work. So this particular situation, this particular leadership may not work in our Indian context. Okay, so people started exploiting that situation, because always we look at another way of doing the work. So servant leadership may not work in our educational setup. And we talk about emotional leadership. So we influence our own subordinates, we influence teachers through feelings and motivating them to achieve. That we call it emotional leadership. And the best way of our leadership is the transformational leadership. Takes the control over the complete over the teachers and give them a proper empowerment and have a deep sense of shared purpose to motivate the teachers. So this is the driving force to meet the goal of the institution. So it is very good leadership style that we can apply in our institution. So you may be applying in different levels. So you might have undergone a different leadership development program at the different levels. So you may be knowing all these concepts of transformation leadership. Nevertheless, we just wanted to share what are the different levels of transformation leadership, how we can apply all these concepts in the school education. And transformation leadership style focused on effecting the revolutionary change in the organization through a commitment to the organizational vision. So the transformation leaders have the ability to clearly articulate the vision for the future. So to be effective in crisis situation, the leaders must be transformational, transforming the crisis into challenges. So here we talk about shared vision. Unless we have a shared goals, we cannot achieve that. Shared goals, what we meant here is the goal that you want to achieve, everyone should be well communicated. If you don't communicate the goal that you want to achieve, nobody will be part of your own way. So as school leaders, we need to transform the goal that you want to achieve, and we need to communicate to them effectively to our teachers. So these are all the major common characteristics of transformation leaders. They are visionary leaders, they are inspirational, they are thoughtful, they are considerate, trustworthy and confident. These are all only the theoretical aspect of it. What are the main characteristics? We can just look at major characteristics. They commit people to action, they convert followers into leaders, and they convert leaders into change agents and innovators, and they become courageous. They empower others to achieve the shared vision, and they have a high level of motivation and morality, and they appeal individuals to do better themselves. So they believe in people, they are value driven, they are lifelong learners, and they can deal with any kind of complexity and issues. So transformation leaders are believing in people, they are value driven by self-beliefs, and they're always ready to learn, relearn and unlearn, and they can deal with any type of complexity, complex issues. These are major major characteristics of a transformation leader. There are 5 levels we can talk about in schools. Transformation leadership in schools, there are 5 levels we can talk about. Level 1, we can talk about the chain of command. So you are here and you give directions. You just give the direction and teachers will have to obey those directions. So that is, we call it the level 1. So level 1 is an empowered environment, position the leader above and separate from the work group. So you don't involve with them and you don't interact with them, and you just give them what is to be done. So they just follow whatever you are saying. So that means the leader stands between the group and the higher management, and he has got sole authority in decision making, and is set apart by the title and position. So what the teachers do, teachers just follow the orders, and they work for the principal. The principal is not there. They don't go to classes. They remain in the staff room. They don't go to school. They don't go to classroom. They work for the leader more than with each other. Have a limited access to upper management, and limit communication with the leader because of the negative consequences. So they don't want to communicate because they don't have that kind of courage to come forward to share any kind of issues. So this is what we find in level 1. So you may not have this kind of levels in the schools. So we may. So second level is talk about leader is central. So leader is central. That means you give them the direction, still you have a proper control on them. So leaders moves from the above the workers to the center of the unit, but clear distinction still exists between what leader does and what people in the particular school does. So the leader is central to the most of the communication within the group and channel communication from upper management to the group. So you just control everybody, but still give them some kind of flexibility. So here teachers depend on leaders for the information, and they just listen to the listen to the principal for any kind of decision. So as school leader, we are the central to the group communication, decision making, and you direct everyone's activities. If we are not there, it doesn't function properly. All kind of chaotic information situation will happen, and adapts on open door policy and easily accessible for group members. So these are all a few leader qualities in the level 2, wherein the level 2 is the leader is the central level. Then the third level, before we move to the third level, any clarification, any discussion? So we have seen 2 levels. Yeah. Any clarification? So after this session, I cannot, tell you, all of you become highly effective school leaders, because everyone wanted to become a highly effective school leaders, because it is a process. So all will not become overnight, all will not become effective school leaders. It is a process. It's a process, and we need to empower our own teachers to become the leaders. That is the major challenge in every school, because without our presence, how the school function, it is what more important. Okay, so in your presence, school functions effectively. So in your absence, how does the school function? That is what more important. Okay, so that is called the influence on the leader. Okay, yeah, any clarification? Yes. So any clarification? Yes.
Hello.
So you may have your own experiences.
Hello.
As school leaders, you may have your own experiences as school teachers. You can
Hello.
share that. You can share
Can
the
you hear me?
issues. Yeah.
Yeah. Hello. I'm Deepika from Purna Learning Center School.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So I'm in social sciences department.
Yeah.
And actually, I'm basically an engineer and
Yeah.
worked for 18 years in power plant design and stuff. And then I fell in love with
Teaching, and
social
you have
science
come here.
and
Okay.
humanity.
Yeah.
And it's good that you are doing a session for school, because finally the early childhood and those things really matter a lot when a child goes
Yes.
to higher education also. So one thing which we believe in, our school is an alternative education school, and we strongly believe in is 3 main pillars, that is sustainability, inclusiveness, and holistic. So I feel
One second, repeat, ma'am. One second, repeat.
Holistic education, that is hand, heart, and mind.
Yeah.
Then second is inclusivity. So include the society.
Yes.
All sections of the people, even teachers, different levels.
Yes.
And third is sustainability, a sustainable future.
So that is the goal of every higher education institution, every education.
So I mean, I think
yes.
for principal, this is very important to see how we are managing our waste, how we are approaching everybody. So I think that one I wanted to bring out. And thirdly, sir, you're a great speaker. I appreciate that. But the matter given is more theoretical. I would really, because as you brought out, the principal's role is very complex and very
complex.
elaborate.
That I understand.
Very true. Very true. And I can see that you understand that so well.
Yeah.
But I would appreciate if there were some case studies, short case studies, which you would have given some ideas to the most complex and most important issues which principals face today. Otherwise, this is so much of theory, so matter-heavy slides. I wish we had more of practical
inputs. I have one case I can share with to all of you. You can design, because that is after this particular theory. I just wanted to give you that particular case, because for any kind of practical class we need theory. So without theory, we cannot use the practical.
But I think a lot of theory can be come from the documents which are already existing.
I'll send it to you today after this. And for next class, we can go through that. We can you can go through that case and pick that what type of style you have, and then we can determine the effectiveness of our leadership. We can determine the effectiveness of leadership. Okay, so all have wanted to become an effective leader. It is a process. It is not an overnight. All cannot become an effective leader. Okay, so as a country prime minister, as a country president, or company CEO, or as his principal in the school or principal in the college, so everyone is a process of learning every day, because every day we confront daily issues. So that daily issues make us to learn new concepts and we apply that. Correct? So I have a case, I have one homework I can pass it on. So please do that homework and we can identify how this particular communication is, how that leadership is highly effective.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Any more questions? Any more questions? Because as it was mentioned earlier, our approach in our experience in school is very, very limited. Our experience in school is limited. So we just want to give certain examples from schools. Okay. Yeah. So these are all some applications you can use in your own school environment, because you are the best school leaders in your own school. You have been doing excellently well in your own school. So you may have a lot of experience to share. So that experience make our session more interesting. Okay. So we are not working in schools. We are all working in higher education institutions. We are all working in colleges and universities. So our challenge, our issues are entirely different. Okay. So that's what I said I told the beginning itself. We can just share our own experiences, and with your own daily issues, we can complement each other and make this particular learning more effective. Yeah. So we cannot give you a direct example of schools because we don't work in schools directly. So you are the better person to judge all that. So this kind of theoretical input may give you some kind of insight how we can move forward from position X to position Y. Yes. Yeah, proceed.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Sir, I just want to talk about my institution. I'm from Punjab, from Amritsar.
Yeah.
Sir, we all talk about, children, students, and
Yeah.
we don't talk about on all the, no, okay, the regular one. I'm talking about
Yeah.
now those children who are gifted children.
Yes.
I'm talking about those children who are dyslexic.
Yeah.
So in our school, we have a system where we are including these students. We have an inclusive education system where we are including all these children, gifted children. I don't call them a dyslexia. I call them gifted children, because God has, if taken something out from them, He has provided some better qualities in them, certain values in them. So they are lovable, they are affectionate. You just spend one day with these children, they are wonderful. So I just want to share with all of you that in us, we have a mechanism. We have a separate wing for these children. We have a separate educators for these children. When these are being treated as mainstream children. They come to us in the class grade 3, grade 4, until class or till grade 12, they are with us only. And you don't know how much love, how much affection we get from these children. In addition to love and affection, we also get to know certain skills which we don't even have, as we simply ignore. I just want to quote one example. There was one child in class 11. I'm a coordinator, I'm a facilitator. So I just want to share about him. That child has a gifted ability to, otherwise he is a dyslexic child. He doesn't think so much. He cannot talk so much. He cannot even sit properly. But he has a keen ability to observe and to react. And he is a person who can easily listen to the music and have some different type of vibrations. So just want to tell you that all of us talk about general children. Let us all include these type of children also, because they are also part of our education system. And CBSE as an organization has always asked the schools, institutions to bring these children into the mainstream. So my request to all of you is that kindly consider these children as a part of our society. Let us love them. Let us give our affection, give our total devotion to them, and let us also make them a citizen of India. So my only request is that let us all concentrate also on these children. We should not ignore them. We should not feel that these children are just run of the mill. They are not. They are gifted children. They are special children. Thank you, sir.
So
Thank you.
that's what here that the leadership that you quality that you applied is the emotional leadership. The leadership quality that you applied there is the emotional leadership. So you have touched the emotions and feelings and attitude of a particular child, and you have made them to influence to achieve their goal. Is that right? Is that right, sir? Is that right? Are you there? How you are influencing? Are you there, sir? Hello? Okay. So, the transition level, it is like the leader begins to shift decision making. These are all some theoretical aspect. So here, what the group members, what teachers usually do is they are empowered to make decisions on the job task, and they redefine and widen scope of their job. So they work collaboratively. So here the collaboration comes. So this kind of leadership, certainly the collaboration comes in schools. And the fourth level is a partnership. We as leaders, we as principal, we work with the teachers as partner to achieve the goals. So we become a partner. So we have moved away from center, we have moved away from giving the command, and we become a center, and we move as a collaborator, as a partner in the student learning. So the fourth level is the very interesting level that everyone should have, and we become an outsider, and we empower every teachers to do their task. That's what I was talking about. So every school should have this kind of leadership environment. So we principals should empower teachers to do their work to accomplish the goals of the students. So this kind of level of leadership, if we have, every school may be unique to achieve the goals of the students. So here, a very interesting level that we have. So every school should have this kind of level. So we become teachers become self-centered. So they don't get any direction. They become self-centered, and they achieve they make them students to achieve their goals. So they take full ownership of most of aspect of our job, though we are not present, though the principals are not present, school function effectively. So this kind of leadership we should have. So these are all the various skills associated with the transformation leadership in schools that I don't want to share because a lot of empowerment, challenge, and we need to coach them to ensure the success and reinforce the good work and good attempts, and we need to appraise them, and we need to share the information, knowledge and skills and values and attitude, and we need to trust and respect every individual in the school, and we need to provide support without taking over, and we need to practice what we preach. That's what the various skills associated with the transformation leadership. So as when we adopt this particular style, certainly we teachers contribute to each other's improvement, and the whole school participate vision and mission, goals and development, and become the model school, and school improvement teams are highly active. So what I would say is here, we school leaders, the 5 standards of the education leadership, and we are becoming the shared leaders, because we try to develop, promote the success of every student by empowering every teacher to have a shared vision, and we provide or we nurture every student, every qualities, and to make student as the self-learners and lifelong learners, and provide staff student growth. And we as school leaders promote the success of every student by facilitating or by providing conducive learning environment, and we promote success of every student by providing or engaging or by collaborative learning. And we leaders, we school leaders become value driven. That is what more important. So our personal value system is highly important as school leaders, and thereby making them as a holistic, integrated individuals. So anything that we can discuss? Yeah. Because as I have mentioned earlier, all of us are not directly involved in school administration, because whatever issue that you have, whatever the challenges that you have is entirely different. Okay, so you can share your challenges, your issues, so that we can work collaboratively to come out with the proper model. So any clarification, any issues, any challenges you can share, so that we can clarify all your doubts. Yeah. Yes.
Hi, Dr. Aloysius, sir. The
Yes,
presentation
sir.
was found to be very much useful.
Yeah.
And one doubt I want to ask, which may be relevant as of now, because the challenges that the leadership may be facing, that you have already listed all those things. But coming to the contemporary present stage challenges, especially the post-corona changes, the new normal life which we are going to get. So could you please tell me at least a few challenges that the principals may be facing during this corona season and post-pandemic situation?
Yeah. The post-pandemic world could be entirely different. That's what every report, every research agency comes out with a different type of model where we work in. Especially school system, we need to develop highly IT empowered facilities, because we need to connect our students only through technology. So, and especially as IT facilities, what we have in the school may not be that much enough to cater to the needs of technological needs of our own stakeholders. So we need to equip our technological capabilities. So that technological capabilities as school, how much we have, that we need to have, how much, what type of bandwidth we have, how we connect, what type of platform we have to connect our students. You have your own unique platform that you have to connect our students. So that kind of, see, especially in Kerala government schools, so all Kerala government schools are highly connected through technology. So many government school teachers are taking all the classes through the technology enabled platform. All of you are aware of that. So as the government schools are coming forward, as our own schools should also come forward to enhance the technological capabilities. That is the first challenge every school has got. And the real working, what the report is saying is the post-pandemic, we may not have 100% attendance. We may have the 50% of the children may come to the school. So you for example, 4th standard has got 60 children. So 30 children will come on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. The remaining 30 will come on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. So to keep up the social distancing norms. So we may have alternative days. So all the children will not come to the school. So alternatively, students will come. So only 50% will come to the school. The remaining 50% will come in the other days. So those kind of daily challenges may come. So we'll have to encounter. How we encounter those challenges is highly important. So only two things. One is the daily life, the daily student life will change. We cannot have all the students in our campus. At a stage, we cannot have all the students in the campus. So we may have a rotation, we may have 50% and 50%. The another major challenge is the enhancing our technological capabilities of our students and the teachers. The teachers need to be equipped with a proper technological capability enhancement training, so that teachers can use all type of technological platforms. Yeah, these are all the major challenge the post-pandemic world may have. Yeah. So any more input on that? Some of you can share. Some of you can share any more input on that. Yes. Yeah. One minute. You can raise your hand. I can unmute. Yes, 1 minute. Yeah. Yeah, yes, sir. Proceed. Mr. Manavi Singh, please proceed.
Yeah, hi, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Manvi, and I'm from Sacred Heart Convent School, Riva.
Yeah.
I have the same opinion as one of the ma'am who just said that, you know, if you could share some live
case study I have, I can give it to you as a homework, because if I give you now, or I can put it now, I can explain now, and then
sir,
yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm interrupting you. I think it would be better, you know, because this session was related to leadership. I think it would have been better if you could have shared the case study beforehand.
Yeah, I'll share it with you. I'll put it here. I'll put it here and I'll explain how to do it. And you can see how far our leadership style is effective, and we'll have to improve upon that. I'll do that.
Yeah, and so if you can make it more relevant for a school kind of a setup with higher studies, I think it would be more relevant to us.
Yeah. Because the school environment is entirely different. It is different from one school to the other school. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because every school is unique. So we cannot address issues of all the schools at a time, because every school is unique. Every issue of the school is unique. Okay? Yeah.
What I meant to say was that, you know, you know, case studies or examples relevant to any school than being a specific school. That would be, I think.
Yeah, that's so let us look at that. Let's look at that, any school related issues, and then we can come up on that. We can share with you.
All right.
We can discuss on that. Yeah, so we have another person. Yeah, we have another person called 1 minute. Yes. Yes.
So I'm audible, sir?
Amit, please proceed. Yeah.
Yes. Yes, sir. So I have just one challenge which I want to discuss with all of you. So we all know that in this technology-driven scenario, where technology is going very high, but the values are dying.
Yeah.
You know, we talk about values. We talk about value system in our schools.
Yeah.
We in the present generation, in the present scenario, it's dying at.
Yeah.
So I have a request to all of you, and kindly introspect and please let me know how, as a leader, we can inculcate these values at grassroots level. So I repeat my point that how, as a leader, what we can do at grassroots level to inculcate these values. So some practical measures or something which concrete, which participants can share, and we can all of us can get benefit out of their experiences. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So here he is talking about our own personal. Yeah.
Sir, I'm basically talking about that we as present scenario, we all are well versed with technology. We are going ahead in that. We are using it that, but we are taking a backseat when we talk about values, when we talk about compassion, when we talk about generosity, when we talk about sincerity.
Integrity,
these things
honesty,
are backseat.
Honesty, ethics.
Yes,
Personal
we
values.
talk about yes. So values cannot be taught. I think values can be inculcated. So how we can inculcate these values as a leaders? What can be our role? And as a leader, what should be our measures, concrete measures we can use to inculcate such values, sir? Thank you so much. That's my query.
Yeah. So as you said, values cannot be taught. It is has to be imbibed. So as the education leaders, first of all, we should be a role model to exhibit the value system, integrity, honesty, all that ethics, ethical behavior, impartiality, all that we need to exhibit in our own personal behavior, and thereby students imbibe those value system. So nobody can teach the value system. So you cannot take a value instruction class and you cannot come to a conclusion or we have taught all the values to the students. So it has to be imbibed in the students through the role models of teachers and the principals. Yeah, that is a very good observation. Yes. Any more observations, clarification that we can have? Yes. Any more? So you can raise your hand. You can be unmuted. I can clarify the doubts, clarify the issues. Yeah. Yes. Any more? Any more clarification? Any more deliberations, discussions? Any more? Yeah. You can raise your hand. You can raise your hand. Yeah. Values are taught. Yeah, not taught. Yeah, correct. Values cannot be taught. Correct. Yeah. Any more clarification? Any more thing that we can have? You can raise your hand. We can unmute you. Yeah, one more is there. Richard sir is there. Yes.
Yes, sir. Edward sir, not a clarification. There are two announcements before you finish it. Maybe I will make it at the end, sir. Just wanted to inform if we are finishing it.
Yeah. So any more discussion, any deliberation, anybody?
Sir, there is a question.
Yeah.
Is there a difference in urban and rural school leadership?
So we cannot have a different type of leadership in terms of school or urban or areas. First of all, as school leaders, we need to have that particular vision of accommodating everyone. Okay? So when we have a shared vision, our goals are communicated properly to our own stakeholders, then we could achieve whatever targets, whether you are an urban school or rural school. So what we want to achieve, if the stakeholders do not know, then we don't get the collaboration or support from every teacher. And unless we provide them the proper facilities to achieve that, particular goal, and whether we are in a rural school or urban school, we cannot achieve that. So ultimately, leadership means achieving our goal. That's called leadership. So what do you want to achieve? So the leader is the one who achieves the particular goal in a collaborative way. So if the goal may be different. If you are a rural school, your goals may be different. And if you're an urban school, your goals may be different. Okay. So that goals, whatever we want to achieve, need to develop in a collaborative way. That's what we call it shared vision. So you cannot have, the goals may be different, but leadership would remain same. The leadership level would remain same. So without your presence, whether you are working in a rural village or the urban village, the school function effectively. That means you have exhibited an effective leadership role in the school. So there is no change in leadership style, whether you are in an urban school or rural school. It depends on the how you define your goal, how you want to achieve your goal. The goals are important to achieve that. And any more clarification? And your own personal value system. Your own personal value system, whether you are in a government urban school or rural school, your own personal value system determine the achievement of the school. Yeah, any more? So there is no separate, there is no difference in urban leadership or rural leadership, because the responding to the community needs may be different. You are responding to different community. That's what we call it collaboration. That's what I put it here, collaboration. The responding to the community needs. The responding to the community needs in rural schools may be different from urban schools. Okay. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, proceed.
Hello, sir.
Yes, sir. Proceed, sir.
Thank you for the wonderful session that you took across for the leaderships and types of leaderships and all. This is to add on to the previous speaker who was asking about what are the challenges for the school leaders post-COVID.
Yeah.
My name is Dr. Padmanabh. I am a principal of Ramana Vidyaniketan.
Yeah.
So I would like to add on to this, telling that there are 4 major areas for the school leaders post-COVID. The first one is the knowledge. The second one is the curriculum. The third is the time management.
Yeah.
The fourth is the men on the work. So if a good leader can look into these 4 areas, that is knowledge, curriculum, time, and the men, I think you will be able to cater to the school leadership in a better way. This is what I wanted to add on.
Yeah, that's what I said.
All the schools are facing these problems. I think Dr. Edward could talk on all the leadership styles. As you told, it's very difficult to talk about an individual school because every school is different for itself. Yes. And every school have got their own problems. And as a leader,
issues. Yes,
since you have described all the leadership qualities, they have to do an introspective study to see which leadership style that I am following, which leadership style that I can follow depending upon the faculties that I am there at my school. Maybe, of course, rural leadership and the urban leadership varies a lot because the knowledge, or maybe because of the environment that they are brought up, or maybe because of the availability of things around them. it varies. But as a leader, you will have same common goals. Whether it is urban or rural, your goals will be the same. So what you want to achieve, as you told previously, was correct. But my point here to say is, post-COVID, the major challenges that any school leader should look into is this knowledge and the curriculum that you are going to handle, the time that you are going to manage, and the staff that you have. So if you can look into these four corners, I think post-COVID, of course, is a big fear for all of us. When is the academic starting and all those things? As a school leaders, if you can look into these four corners, I think it will be better. Thank you, sir.
As sir was rightly mentioned, in terms of knowledge, technology plays pivotal role in disseminating knowledge. In terms of then how do we manage? That's what Sarah has rightly said. How to manage the men? I mean, the staff and the students. That's how are you managing it? It's another major challenge, as Sarah has rightly said. So our challenges are entirely different in the post-COVID-19 world. Yeah. Yes. So thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much for sharing your input. It's a very highly valuable input, sharing that. Thank you, dear sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. So any more clarification? Any more changes?
Edward, sir.
Yes, sir.
If there are no much questions, can we?
Yeah.
Edward, sir.
We wait for one. Yeah. Any more questions?
Any more questions?
So one question, Edward,
yeah.
sir.
Proceed.
So this is again related to post-COVID situation.
Yeah.
Like we all are now working on a different platform, virtual learning, which is very different from actual classroom learning.
Actual classroom, yes.
Yes, traditional classroom learning. We are all, as a teacher, we are working more than what others are working, honestly speaking.
Yeah.
Like if it is 6 to 7 hours job, we are working for more than 10 to 12 hours from home, providing the study material, preparing our lectures,
that is true.
Making the technology very handy for the students.
Yes.
So I have just one concern, one issue. Post-COVID situation, once the students will be back to their traditional classroom, hopefully they would be back. We are ready to have them with an open arm. So my concern is that as a true leader, after this situation where we are running these virtual classrooms, where the children are far from us, okay? So at that time, when they are coming back to us, there might be certain challenges. Means at that time, they are more prone to this system where everything is technology based. So as a true leader, our role has to be like that in that situation, the values have to be inculcated at those times. Means we have a greater challenge at that time to complete our syllabi and to make other activities also. So I have a small query. Kindly please tell in the post-COVID situation, what can be the 3 important things as a school leader all of us need to work upon? Keep a balance between the academics and non-academics. So please apprise us only the 3 major things we should as a leader should concentrate, so that our activities as well as co-curricular activities as well as academics, they go hand in hand. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. I mean, both should go hand in hand, because you cannot have a relaxability. You cannot have any kind of relax on the non-academic activities, because we need to build the skills of the students. So how do we engage them is a big challenge, because students all may not come at a stage, because that's what the report says. All students may not come to the class. All 100, if you have 60 students, all 60 students will not come together in a classroom. You may have 50% may come. So in that case, how do you manage the entire school is a big challenge. So according to the situation, we'll have to respond to the situation. That's what more important. The responding to the particular situation determine the success and failure of any school leader. Yeah, that is true.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for enlightening us.
Thank you. So any more clarification, any more discussion? Because okay, thank you very much for this joyful sharing session because it's a very good learning experience for all of us. On the one more somebody has raised hand. One sister, yes sister, please proceed. Sister, proceed. Proceed, sister. Sister, proceed. Yeah, proceed. Yes, proceed. Yeah. Somebody said? Okay, thank you very much for joining with us. We had a wonderful time. We had a wonderful learning experience, especially in the post-COVID-19 leadership level. So thank you very much for joining with us today. We will meet tomorrow morning. Over to Dr. Jonas Richard. No. Richard sir want to say.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you, Edward sir. Though there is a formal vote of thanks, thank you for enlightening us, taking us through the entire concept of leadership. So big concept in a very short time. Dear friends, there are two important announcements. Number one, there are two WhatsApp groups exclusively for the participants of a 4th online educators meet. Hope you are in one of these groups. If you are not in any one of the groups, kindly contact the edumeet@christianity.com or Professor Mary Jacob, whom you contacted for registration. Okay, so because we communicate all the session details through WhatsApp groups, number one. Number two is about on the last day, 14th, we are having a panel discussion on how do we manage post-COVID in the context of school education. How do we deal? Okay, so if there are some of you are interested to be the panelists, okay, and who can put the points very precise, kindly contact same Professor Mary Jacob, so we can include you in the as a panelist. These are the two announcements. Thank you. Over to Anita ma'am.
Dilip said they have not connected the audio. Renuka Madhu has not connected the audio. Please inform her to join the meeting with the audio. Done.
Okay, thank you very much. We will meet tomorrow morning 9:30. We will meet. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Hello.
Yes.
Yes. So we have come to the end of a very wonderful session. The session was very enriching. Professor Aloysius Edward had started with the multiple roles played by the educational leaders and what all can be the key practices to be adopted and how school educational leadership can be made more effective. And he ended with the various skills and standards which are required for effective educational leadership. On behalf of all the participants and on behalf of the organizer, I thank Professor Aloysius Edward for this enriching session. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
I thank all the participants for their active participation. In spite of all the challenges, all of you have found time to join with us in this technological platform for knowing more and for sharing your experience. Thank you, dear participants. We will meet tomorrow at 9:30 p.m. for the third session. The session details are already shared with you. That is on sustainable development goals in school education by Dr. Sally Birchall and promoting positive student mental health in schools by Dr. Jonas Richard. Thank you once again. Have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you, dear participants. We'll meet tomorrow morning 9:30. Thank you. Thank you.